When Rainbow Dash regained consciousness, she saw Rarity. She was strapped to a wooden slab that resembled Rainbow Dash's. Rarity opened her eyes and looked at Rainbow Dash. Dash? She asked. Rarity? Dash asked. Yay, said Pinkie Pie, heading to a door at the back wall. We're all together. Well, almost. Pinkie opened the door and pulled out a yellow pony with a blue mane. Bubbles? Asked Rainbow Dash. So, you know this pony? Said Pinkie Pie. Then this will be even more fun than I thought. The pony was tied up and laying on the floor. Tears filled her eyes. Pinkie walked over to the surgical table and grabbed a scalpel. She then headed over to Bubbles. What are you going to do? Asked Rarity. You'll see, said Pinkie Pie, not taking her eyes off of Bubbles. But Bubbles won't. She drove the scalpel into the eye socket of Bubbles' left eye. She let out a high-pitched scream as Pinkie Pie plucked out her eye. It fell out and rolled on the floor. Pinkie Pie then cut Bubbles' ropes. Bubbles backed against the wall, screaming in pain and holding her empty eye socket. No! Rainbow Dash screamed. Bubbles! She said more softly. Rarity started to cry. Pinkie Pie stabbed the loose eye with the scalpel. She then held it up to her mouth and licked it. "Mm," she said. "It's perfect." She set the eye back on the floor and pulled the scalpel free. "But I need one more." She moved towards Bubbles and held up the scalpel. Bubbles held up her hoofs to try and block Pinkie. "Come on," said Pinkie Pie. "No," screamed Bubbles. "Give me your eye." "No." Pinkie Pie slit Bubbles' legs, causing her to pull back. Pinkie Pie then drove the scalpel into Bubbles' other eye socket. "Ah!" screamed Bubbles. "No!" Rainbow Dash cried softly. "Bubbles!" Pinkie Pie plucked out Bubbles' other eye. It fell to the ground and rolled a bit. Bubbles was now crying uncontrollably. "Well, that was fun," said Pinkie Pie. "But you know what? I'm gonna give you a chance. If you can make it out the door in 60 seconds, you can live. Now, go." Bubbles slowly moved forward, feeling around in front of her. She turned a bit to the left and headed towards Rainbow Dash. "Dash?" asked Bubbles. "Over here," said Rainbow Dash. Bubbles felt her way to Rainbow Dash. When she felt Dash's legs, she looked up. Rainbow Dash found it hard to look at Bubbles in this condition. "Oh, Bubbles," said Dash. "I'm sorry. It's not your fault." Blood trickled out of Bubbles' eye sockets. It looked like red tears. "Be strong," said Dash. "Who you kidding?" Bubbles asked. "We both know I'm not going to make it. You're the one that needs to be strong." Rainbow Dash's eyes were completely filled with tears. "Time's up," said Pinkie, standing behind Bubbles. She held up the scalpel to Bubbles' neck. "Don't forget me," said Bubbles, still looking up at Rainbow Dash. "Never," said Dash. Pinkie slit Bubbles' throat, spilling her blood all over the floor. Bubbles kept looking up at Rainbow Dash until she was dead. Rainbow Dash looked away and cried. Rarity started to cry, too. "Now to harvest," said Pinkie.